Hey, everyone. Welcome to Locked On Lakers for Monday. Brian Kamenetsky, Andy Kamenetsky. Lakers come out flat in Phoenix and suffer a painful loss. There are a lot of people to blame for this, and we'll blame them all next.
You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks to everybody for making Locked On Lakers your first listen of every day, Monday through Friday, no matter how or where you get your podcasts, always free, never behind a paywall. And Locked On Lakers on YouTube is over 23,000 subscribers are all hanging out, leaving questions, leaving comments, most of which are, quite frankly, Andy, appalled at the effort the Lakers brought out on Sunday in Phoenix, falling behind early, flat in the first quarter, weird coaching choices, strangely non-present offensively, Anthony Davis early. There's so much, as the inventors of the blame pie, Andy, there's a lot of, it's a good day for the blame pie because we invented it. There's a lot of blame to go around, and we are going to portion out some blame in this show because the Lakers really deserve it. Do want to let people know first that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. 123-113 was the final score on Sunday afternoon. The Lakers fell behind by 20, Andy, early in the first quarter. It really was shocking how flat they were at the beginning of this game.
Yeah, it's interesting. I had concerns, and I took some crap expressing these concerns after Friday's mini show from some of the YouTube channel viewers and commenters. Thank you, by the way, for your participation, regardless, because I expressed a fair amount of unhappiness over the San Antonio win because it felt to me like even though they got the win, and obviously every win matters, they were not very focused in that game. And it felt to me like they missed an opportunity to sharpen up and really get themselves in a good rhythm with a good focus, good execution, right mentality heading into this game on Sunday that, like we talked about, really mattered a lot. And I cannot say with 100% certainty that my vibe from that game, which for what it's worth, Darvin said the exact same thing about them being unfocused and flat and a few other players as well. I can't say with 100% certainty that carried over to the start of the game against Phoenix because I'm not in Arizona. I'm not in that building, not in the locker room, but I can tell you what it felt like. It felt like at minimum that was possible. And I don't think it's a leap to say that they may have been related, but maybe they were even totally unrelated and they came out unfocused and flat for a completely different reason. That's not better either. But no. I had a feeling something like this might have actually happened.
You're like a farmer with a crick in his knee when the rain is coming. It was just like this is an expensive loss for the Lakers because not because they lose the tiebreaker to Phoenix, but because Phoenix is one of the only teams that they have the tiebreaker on and the opportunity to catch. You look at Dallas, they do not have the tiebreaker on the Mavericks. They do not currently have it on the Pelicans. They do not have it currently on the Kings. And the teams that they're chasing, the one team that they do have a tiebreaker on is Phoenix. And so catching Phoenix is critical to their opportunities to moving up as far as, maybe hosting a play-in game or getting out of the play-in entirely. And this loss was painful for that. Look, Anthony Davis, early foul trouble. That was something we've seen over the last couple of days.
It's his third straight game since the All-Star break. And for those keeping track at home, the Lakers have played 3 games since the All-Star break. So it's been every single game. And this has been uncharacteristic of AD's season. but he's gotten into early foul trouble in all 3 games, and it's a problem.
So I mean, that took him out, in terms of, both it messed up with Darvin's rotations in ways it shouldn't have, but I clearly put Darvin on tilt. And so that was something the Lakers had to work around. That was an issue. The bench was non-existent. I think it is fair to say the bench was outscored essentially by Bol. I mean, for all intents and purposes in this game. And that was the thing. The Lakers made 4 free throws in this game. 4. They got the line 8 times, managed to make 4. Like, you look around this, and there are so many different ways that this game was kind of frittered away. And, they came back. D'Angelo Russell played well at the end of the second quarter to get them to within a manageable number at halftime. They got to within 2 a couple times in the third quarter. But when you fall down 20, Andy, you are playing up. It's not like Phoenix doesn't suck. I mean, they've blown a ton of leads of late, but they came into this game having won 7 straight at home. When you fall down 20 to a team with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, you're putting yourself in a really difficult position because you need to get so many stops against guys who, quite frankly, can score even against excellent defense.
Well, in this particular game, it's not even just that the Suns have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, because those guys were not the reason that the Lakers couldn't keep up. Really, what killed the Lakers was the Suns' role players. Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal hit 6 threes each in this
Royce
game.
O'Neal hot early, Grayson Allen devastating late.
I mean, both of them made threes throughout this game. Yusuf Nurkic absolutely outplayed Anthony Davis by a massive margin. He had 18 points, 22 rebounds, 7 on the offensive glass. He more than doubled all of the offensive rebounds for the Lakers as a team. Yep. They got 3 as a team. 2 of them were Anthony Davis. He got at about 2.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. That was the first offensive rebound the Lakers got in the game, period. And plus Nurkic had 7 assists. Like, he wholly outplayed Anthony Davis, and it was not even close. And we're going to get into some of the stuff with the Phoenix role players, but it's one thing to get buried by Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, just, both putting up 35 plus the way, they are superstars and superstar scorers in particular. Those guys do that sort of thing. That's not even what happened in this game. Kevin Durant was 7 of 20 from the field, 2 of 8 from behind the arc. Like, he made some nice plays.
Well. I mean, he did 7 assists, particularly in the first half, was moving the ball well as the Lakers trying to,
but the attention, but you can argue, and I will, because we're going to talk about this, that the attention those guys garner because of who they are screwed up the Lakers in terms of how they approached a lot of defending the Suns. But those are not the guys who buried the Lakers. It was Allen, it was O'Neal, it was Nurkic, it was even Bol in his own right.
To your point, Andy, those 2 guys, Durant and Booker, and Bradley Beal did not play Sunday.
Nor did Eric Gordon.
Those guys were 15 of 38. And scored 43 points. That's really good. Like, if you get out of a game in Phoenix where those guys are 15 of 38 and score 43 points, you ought to win.
Yeah. Only went to the line 10 times between them. Like, those, again, they were not the reason the Lakers lost this game, other than, again, maybe how the Lakers approached the game. You can argue they were the reason, but their actual production was not.
All right, let's get to a few of these things, because we kind of broke down the different attributes of this game, where they're talking about bench scoring, which was non-existent, not a great game from Austin Reaves. He was 5 of 12 from the floor. Soft open from Anthony Davis. The end of the game stat line looks okay, but it was not a great day for AD. And some really weird choices from Darvin Ham. So let's get to the Ham part of it next, because I think that is one of the things that has, not surprisingly, Lakers Twitter, Lakers social media on fire Sunday into Monday, and with good cause. So we'll do that next.
Locked On Lakers is brought to you by Grammarly, and Brian and I have both been paid to write in various capacities, mediums, for about 25 years, and we both love to write, but writing is really challenging. There can be brain locks even after all of these years and time doing it, and that's what makes Grammarly so valuable. Grammarly supports you from start to finish. For over 10 years, Grammarly has been powered by trustable AI technology to help you across all the places where you write the most. And with one click, Grammarly can help you brainstorm, rewrite, reply, so you can improve productivity for you and your teams. And I've really appreciated Grammarly's suggestions for phrasing, like even subtle tweaks that can make a huge difference on the page. It's also great for managing time. Grammarly can help you summarize emails and provide suggestions to a reply just in seconds. And if you've got a big presentation coming up, let Grammarly create a personalized outline to help you get organized so you can transform your ideas into a compelling presentation. Here's the best part: free to use. So start being more productive at work. Go to Grammarly.com/podcast to download for free today. That's GRAMMARLY.com/podcast.
So look, I mean, I understand, like, the people want the Lakers to play big, Andy. They want them to be bullies. They want to. That is harder to do with the players that are currently missing. No Jared Vanderbilt, no Cam Reddish, no
Christian Wood.
The Lakers are missing a lot.
You don't even have Colin Castleton if you wanted him. He fractured his wrist.
I mean, he would have. Castleton would have been on the roster Sunday, but he wasn't available because he's out for at least a couple weeks. So, a lot of the length that the Lakers had and finally got back is not available. So I understand that there are restrictions on sort of what Darvin is able to do, and I get that. I did not think Rui was particularly good on Sunday, which also I think factors into things like, just didn't think he played all that well. That said, you had Max Christie available, didn't get in. You had, he played 5 minutes in this game. You had a stretch where, I guess because of foul trouble and the normal rotation, whatever, you allowed Anthony Davis and LeBron James to both be off the floor together.
It was about the last 3 minutes of the first quarter.
And coincidentally, at a stretch where Phoenix went on a big run. Like the Lakers. Really.
We'll talk about it. Phoenix, the lead went from 16 to 17 by the end of it. It looked worse than it actually did damage. It looked weirder than it actually did damage, in all honesty.
Fair enough. But the playing times, the issues. I didn't understand the Christie part.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah. Let's get into this one.
I didn't get it.
So didn't get it. You and I were texting during the game. We were like, did Max Christie have like a team rule violation? Is he
notorious rule breaker Max Christie?
Yeah, he's such a wild kid and such a loudmouth, and he's never soft spoken or polite, that Max Christie. But we're like, did he re-injure himself, but he just wasn't listed on the injury report at all heading into this game? Because him not playing in the first half was striking, particularly when you take into account the things that the Lakers were suffering a lot through in the first half of this game, namely perimeter defense and defensive rebounding. Max Christie is easily the best rebounding guard on this team. It's not even close. And you can make an argument that is among people who play small forward, other than Jared Vanderbilt, he's the best small forward rebounder on this team. Like, the Lakers were getting killed on the glass. So it was strange. And he ended up playing about 4 minutes at the end of the third quarter, played very well in those 4 minutes. He actually he hit a corner three. He set up Anthony Davis on a really nice pass at the rim. Like his 4 minutes, he played really well. Then didn't re-enter the game until like the last minute of garbage time afterwards. Darvin was asked about this after the game, and he said that Anthony Davis's early foul trouble altered the rotation. This is per Jovan Buha from The Athletic, who was in Phoenix, said, quote, Darvin Ham says that Anthony Davis's early foul trouble altered the rotation and led him to playing Max Christie later than he had planned to. An entire half later? Like, that makes absolutely no sense at all. Like, if anything, Anthony Davis's foul trouble, again, considering the stuff that you miss without AD, that would seemingly increase the urgency to play Max Christie, not decrease it.
Well, particularly,
I don't understand that.
And this didn't bother me. Jackson Hayes played 5 minutes until, again, a minute at the end, and didn't play. I mean, they got blitzed in the minutes he was on the floor. Like, if you're not going to play Hayes and you're not going to play, then in 80s in foul trouble, then like I agree with you. I just don't get it. And Taurean Prince wasn't good. He had a couple threes.
Nor was Spencer Dinwiddie.
Right, in that second quarter run. And Dinwiddie wasn't effective. We'll get to the bench. I guess Dinwiddie's getting some deference as a high profile player, somebody that they really do need to get going, and has been just invisible since the All-Star break. Again, so I'm not blaming Darvin for all the performances of the players matter. And, like I said, Rui started this game. Maybe other people disagree. I don't think Rui played well.
I thought Rui played okay. I don't think he played as well as they needed him to. I don't think he played badly. I don't think he played great either. I thought he was. There were guys who played worse than him, but this afternoon they needed Rui to be better than he was. I don't think he played badly. I don't think he played great.
I think the problem with Rui is that so much of his scoring now is so much of his contributing ledger is boiled down to scoring. I feel like I don't feel like he's making a large enough impact in other ways, whether that's, you sort of feel him defensively, whether it's on the glass, whatever it is.
I thought he was matched up against Durant on some possessions where he defended him pretty well.
It was fine. I mean, again, I just didn't. I think
they needed more because other guys really were bad.
Really wasn't impactful. Reaves wasn't good either. I'm not just trying to pick on a couple, on Rui, but this is in the context of Darvin's decision making. Jackson Hayes was not good. And I would have been reticent to put him back in the game or play him longer too, were I the coach. It's just there seems to sort of be this lack of ability to kind of adjust on the fly, change the game plan in ways that make sense, even when you're kind of down stuff. I should have Christie played instead of Dinwiddie, maybe, I don't know, but you do kind of need Dinwiddie to get going, and you want to give him the benefit of the doubt of being able to do what you brought him in to do. Sunday was a really bad combination of coaching that needed to be more mistake free and wasn't, and players that needed to be much better and weren't, on a day where all of that was really poorly timed.
All right. Well, when we come back, I want to share one more thought on Christie that I think summarizes the situation, at least that piece of it. And in terms of decisions or coaching approaches, all that stuff, there was an element of this game that was problematic for the Lakers that has been problematic all season, and they need to fix this, because if they don't, it's going to continue to be problematic for the remainder of these games where the Lakers are trying to move up in the standings, seemingly uphill against the stream. So get into all of that coming up next. Locked On Lakers brought to you by Stitch Fix. And with Stitch Fix, you get a stylist who understands your style, your size, your budget. They do all the shopping for you. And it's the easiest way to update some on-trend favorites for your wardrobe this season. You just give your stylist your size, your style, your budget preferences. I order boxes when I want, how I want, no subscriptions required. And then through the work of the stylist, they send me 5 just for me, customized for me pieces, plus outfit recommendations, advice, and you keep what works, you send back the rest, and they're on point, man. They know what you want. It's like they have ESP. I don't know how they do it. It's like witchcraft, it's sorcery, whatever you want to call it, but it's easy. And shopping can be a hassle, but they save you the time and effort. Plus, I get outfits that make me look good and feel really good. And if you don't love something, just send it back. Shipping, returns, and exchanges are always free. And this is style that makes you feel as good as you look. So get started today at stitchfix.com/locked on. That's stitchfix.com/locked on. Stitchfix.com/locked on. So Brian, with Christie, I'm just going to go back to something I don't remember what brought it on, but there was a show a couple weeks ago where we were talking about how Darvin was in a position where he was going to be needing to play Rui and Christie more, just forced into this because of who was and was not available. And I said that I thought this was interesting because I don't think he inherently trusts either one of them. Darvin just does not trust Max Christie. He does not trust that good things will happen when Christie's on the floor. That to me is because based on the way Christie played in this game, Darvin didn't seem to have a plan to play him more than about 8 to 10 minutes anyway. Like, he just does not want to play the guy unless he has to. And I think that is really what is at play here. He just doesn't want to play the guy.
It could be. Look, I mean,
because I'll put it this way. There were way more reasons in this game to play Christie than not play him. I mean, they were shorthanded on top of it. It was bizarre that he wasn't playing, given how many players weren't even available.
I think I feel like, the part of the, like you mentioned, like Dinwiddie, for example, part of the problem the Lakers get into in a game like this is redundancy, where Christie, Reaves, Russell, Dinwiddie, like you're starting to, the obvious answer is Taurean Prince. And I realize
I don't even agree with that because I don't agree with that. Because Christie's different than the other 3 guards that you mentioned.
Oh, and I understand. I'm just putting guards together in a group.
Sure, I'm just saying I don't find Christie redundant with the guys that you named. I just don't.
I'm just saying I'm talking about their guards. I'm just saying, like, you have a bunch of sort of backcourt guys, two ones and twos and threes, and I think it is, whether it's a lack of trust or a deference to veterans or a deference to stature, whatever it is. Like, this was a game. I mean, I guess you got again, a couple 3-pointers from Taurean in that little mini rally they made to kind of get back into it. He hit the 2 threes he hit in the first half were important. Like,
sure. And
so you feel like you're going to get a little bit more. Maybe you leave that out there, but like, it's not like, when you play Taurean Prince, and you and I have been probably as charitable to Taurean this year as anybody. Like, I don't think a lot of the criticism is necessarily fair because it's not his fault. He's used wrong. But
that Darvin trusts him clearly as much as he does. He's the bizarro Max Christie in terms of trust.
And, if we're not seeing, but like, he's not one of these guys that, at 6'6", 6'6", 6'7", 6'5", whatever he actually is, he's a terrible rebounder. So it's not like when you leave him out there for additional size, you're getting anything out of that. And he's trying. It's not for lack of effort, but he's just as much overmatched or, a problem, when Yusuf Nurkic is pushing people around, you need people to try to recover on the glass or do whatever it might be. And, really gang rebound or whatever it is. Taurean Prince is not your man there. And so I 27 minutes for Torian, which isn't a crazy large number by this season's standards, I guess.
No, it's kind of a DNPCD for Torian.
It's he's 30 pounds. He's listed at least as 30 pounds heavier than Max Christie. There is a bulk question here, but the Lakers are not in a position.
But he doesn't play bulk. What difference does it make?
Right, that's my point. He doesn't play big, so no. I understand it is hard to get all those. You shuffle all those guards around. The matchups get tricky and all that kind of stuff, and it just that I kept just looking at it going, I think I might have missed something. I'm running around the kids on the weekend. I sometimes, I admit, don't catch all that's a 12:30 start. I maybe didn't, catch all the pregame news because it was breaking at 8. I don't know. Maybe I thought I missed something with Christie. That's what you said. I texted you. I was like, maybe he got hurt. I don't know. Did I miss something? No, I didn't. But just at a time when, the Lakers, it's sort of like, this is like the anti-Boston game in some ways, where it's like, it's one of these sort of crossroads games. And now the real crossroad game comes, this week against the Clippers. Because these, it's a murderer's row that they've got going forward for the next couple weeks. It's sort of an inflection point game where you say, what are we going to be? We were bad coming out of the break against Golden State. We weren't that good against San Antonio. This is a prove it kind of game, and they proved it in the wrong way. It was a really lousy effort. The whole thing just felt icky.
I mean, as the game went along, they got better. They outscored Phoenix in the second and third quarter. They played them credibly in the fourth quarter. They lost it, but they didn't get blown out in it. If they had, and again, this gets back to what I talked about earlier in the show. If they had the same sense of focus or just, I don't know, urgency, just seemingly looking to actually compete like they did from the second quarter onward, the first quarter might have been different and the whole game might have been different. Yeah. And, there were elements of this game that were weird beyond their control. I think it was a poorly officiated game on both sides. Both teams had to burn challenges on sequences that the referees should have just called correctly from the beginning. They were not particularly difficult calls the Lakers.
Well, I will say, in fairness to the referees, I thought the play that Darvin challenged, he actually got this one right. I thought it was in real time. I actually thought LeBron grabbed Durant on that play and it was a foul. So kudos to the Lakers staff in this regard for getting that one right. And they went on a little mini run after they. Yeah, after they got it, but.
In the moment, I thought it was a weird challenge just because I was like, I'm not sure how much they gained from winning this challenge, though D'Angelo Russell ended up scoring a basket afterwards. So I guess they got as much out of it as they could have. But, the Phoenix, they had to burn a challenge on a very, very obvious ball went out of bounds on Anthony Davis. Yeah. It was called off Phoenix. Frank Vogel was rightly like, what the hell, man? Both Darvin and Frank Vogel got burned there. LeBron got called for a foul where he was literally standing watching Kevin Durant come up court, and Devin Booker ran into him almost like he was trying to set an illegal screen. But LeBron got called for this. And you can see LeBron's like, wait, what? I'm standing here. What did I do? It was, the Lakers only went to the line 8 times, which is extremely unusual. But Phoenix went 17, which is actually really low for them too.
Yeah.
Phoenix is one of the few teams in the league that actually averages more trips to the line than the Lakers. It was a very, particularly in the middle of the game, it was just a very disjointed game. And I bring all this up because that was something you could see was getting to the Lakers. It was irritating them a lot. And, there were a few times where you could see them not getting back because they were arguing, things like that. You've got to find a way to work through it. I understand why it was frustrating to them, but there was a lot going on in this game that felt like you said, kind of like bad mojo. But
it's just,
They need to do better.
They need to do better. And that's the thing. It's like the annoyance starts with you can't fall behind 20. And the rest of the game is framed through that prism of, if you didn't fall behind 20, you'd have a little more wiggle room here. If you fell behind by 9, you'd have a little more wiggle room to make a run and afford yourself the grace of having 2 possessions where you miss a rotation or something like that, because that's going to happen in a basketball game, or where you're not dependent on there was a sequence that near the end of the game where I forget who hit a shot for Phoenix. Austin Reaves misses a corner 3. It's one of these plays, and I think Lakers fans and certainly everydayers to the show will know exactly what I'm talking about. The Lakers seem to have missed 75% of their that's got to go in shots. Like, that's just got to go in. Wide open corner 3, you're down by 6 or 7 points or whatever. It's got to go in.
Dinwiddie had 2 of those in the fourth quarter. Yes. from each corner.
Yeah,
one in one corner, one in the other corner. They were wide open.
We'll talk more on Tuesday. Like this, he's not only not been good, he's been bad. Like, legitimately contributing nothing. Spencer Dinwiddie in this game on Sunday played 23 minutes, had 3 points and 2 assists. Like, that's terrible.
I can see why he kept Christie glued to the bench. I mean, again, when you look at
that's
for Tuesday's show. For Tuesday's show, there's a specific part of the Lakers' strategy and approach in this game, and really throughout the season, when it comes to guarding the 3-point line, that I want to get more in depth. We just didn't have time with this show, but again, when it comes to adjustments, the Christie thing, I want to make it clear. I'm not saying that if they had played Max Christie, they win this game, because that's way too reductive. And Max Christie, respectfully, is not that great of a player. I'm talking about process, though. And when you take a look at
and it's the same thing. It's the same issue with. It's the same as my criticism of the not being able to adjust to your rotation. So one of LeBron and AD is on the floor at all time. Didn't kill him in there, but it's like, why? Well, and then so from there you get the process stuff, and then the Reaves misses the corner 3. O'Neal comes down and hits the 3. The next on Phoenix's trip down, it's like they get the big shot, the Lakers don't.
It was costly. It was a very costly loss, and they're gonna have to try to find ways to make up for it. Everybody is going to need to be better. And look, LeBron played a really good game. D'Angelo Russell played a really good game. Those 2 guys, I just want to make sure that we point out, played very well. Anthony Davis had a good second half, but it was not nearly good enough to make up for how quiet, frankly, non-existent he was in the first half. And everyone else either played badly or just didn't play close to the level that was needed. And everyone has to do better, and that, by the way, includes Darvin.
There's a lot still to cover from this one, and a lot the Lakers need to fix before they're not going to continue to lose ground and put themselves firmly in that 9-10 with nowhere to go before this is all over. So Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where you can go to hang out and talk about all this with 23,000 subscribers. Leave us questions, leave us comments. We do have an extra day before the show before the Lakers play again. So opportunities to take questions and comments from the YouTube page. And we will see everyone tomorrow.